Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 42 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
And I am not Weston Pugh.
Yep, not Weston today. Weston's off on traveling this week, and so we've invited Jeremy to come and talk to us. As many of you know, Jeremy works with SWBC Mortgage. He's one of our preferred lenders, and we just wanted to have somebody that had been here with us before and kind of get the non-realtor perspective of some of the houses that we go to.
Yeah, it was great yesterday. I loved getting it to drive around with you, look at these properties that we're going to be talking about today. And it was just a fresh reminder to me of, going through these homes. It was fascinating to hear you talk about different aspects of the properties, things that I wouldn't have even known to point out, or why different facets are important. And it was just a great treat for me to get to do that. So thank you for letting me jump in. It was great. I'm excited about doing this.
It was a fun day. I mean, it was, a couple hours anyway. So.
Yeah, keep going. So.
Our first home today, well, let's talk just real quick about what do you see going on in the real estate market?
It's interesting. For us, it's been kind of a busy summer. And I feel like, I think on my side, I'm seeing a lot of people are coming back to me saying, hey, interest rates have dropped. They're really kind of curious about what's happening in the market. And I think it's gotten a lot of people excited about what's happening. And you might be able to speak to this a little bit better, but it feels like maybe some properties are opening up and there's some opportunities out there for people to buy great homes.
Yeah, there really are. A couple of shows ago, we were kind of doing a first quarter roundup. And one of the really interesting things that really stood out to me was the inventory right now is the highest it's ever been since August of 2014.
Really?
Yeah. So definitely the number of properties coming on the market is growing. And
well, it's a great time. Interest rates being down, I think, with the way pricing is, and I'm excited about it. So, yeah. And I at least talking to a lot of our friends, it seems like people are getting really excited about buying homes.
Well, good. So, let's keep it going.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, jumping right into our properties today, we always try to kind of focus on something or have some continuity with the properties that we talk about, and today we're going to talk about homes that are primarily in that Kessler Park market.
Right.
They're all in Oak Cliff for sure. The first one that we wanted to talk about was 831 West Greenbrier Lane. And this is a really great location. What do you think about the location?
Yeah, so down there in Kessler Park, love this area. I particularly love it because it's not far from Stevens Park, which is one of my favorite places to golf in Dallas. It's a great municipal golf course. Not far from Methodist Hospital. I think there's just a lot of great aspects about the location. Kessler Park's a real coveted area, from what I've heard and what I see. So, and there's some really great, interesting architecture out there.
It is, and it's one of the few areas of Dallas that you've got really great topography.
Right.
If you're a runner or a cyclist, you can get out there.
Good luck on those hills.
Yeah, have some challenges,
Right.
and if you're not a runner or cyclist, then you can get out and ride your moped around.
Right.
But great walkability over there. It's really just the face of Kessler Park to me has really changed over the last 10 years.
It's interesting. And I love getting down in that area anytime I can. I think it's just the nature. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So some great homes over there.
Well, this is a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath home. It's a little over 2,600 square feet, built in 1959, and it is priced at $680,000. We sold this to the current owners about 5 or 6 years ago. And they've done quite a bit of work to this home to continue to improve it. What did you think going through it?
It's funny. I walk into this home. I think the first thing that opened up to me was just this formal living room. Kind of goes into the dining room. I just think it was a great space, real long, kind of fits the length of the room. And then you keep going down, and you've got a whole nother living room that opens up into the open kitchen, which I loved. I thought it was a really great. I think the part that was most interesting to me about this home is how they added on the mother-in-law quarters towards the back of the house. It opens up some functionality there for someone. So.
It was, it's interesting that you kind of pointed out it has the formal dining and formal living, but then it also has this secondary living area. And this kind of kills two birds with one stone to me because, so many people love that really open floor plan type, but then they also want to have a little bit of privacy in some formal areas.
Yep.
And this I mean, this hits the nail on the head where a lot of other homes can't.
I could see it working for, there's that open kitchen. It was just a beautiful space and opening up into the living room. I really enjoyed this house. So
Original wood floors are really in great shape. It's got granite countertops, undermount sinks, stainless steel appliances. As you continue on toward the back of this house, like Jeremy was mentioning, they closed in I guess it was like a breezeway porch between the main house and the garage, and then that part of that extra space there was what they converted into that mother-in-law suite.
it's got that office space in between there as well. It's great for someone that's perhaps works from home or something like that.
Yeah, and they didn't take any of the garage space for it.
Yeah.
It still has the 2 full garage spaces. Master bedroom is fantastic on this one. The master bath has been totally redone, double vanities, 2 big walk-in closets. The shower in it is 6 foot by 6
Yeah, the
foot.
shower was massive.
So
It's
really,
great.
really quite amazing. And all 3 full bathrooms in this house have been redone, and then the half bath has also been redone. So there's very little to have to do on this, and it's got some great outdoor
Definitely
space as
move-in
well.
ready for someone that is looking in that area.
Yep. And this is again priced at $680,000, which brings it in about $259 a square foot. And for a really quality home in, this is actually in Sam Dealey Estates, which is one of the Kessler United neighborhoods. For a home of this quality at $680,000, it's really good value, I think.
It's great. Someone will be lucky.
Yep. The next home that we're going to talk about is is at 3528 Virginia Boulevard, and this one is a little bit farther to the west of the Kessler neighborhoods. But we talk about this lack of affordable housing that's out in the marketplace, and this one's really in a great neighborhood. So
That area I'm not particularly familiar with, but I loved the house. I loved kind of just, it was a little bit further west. It just seemed like there were some really interesting homes out there and some opportunities for people to buy some great real estate.
yeah, that's exactly right. And the
Great price points too.
Yep, the neighborhood around that is one of those areas that's just kind of bubbling up. You've still got, I would not call this neighborhood a walkable neighborhood, certainly as much as I would Kessler, but it is, certainly a bikeable neighborhood. You've got grocery stores not very far away from there. There's a Tom Thumb over on Hampton Road. There's that's got their big gas station over there as well. So you can get to anything within like virtually 5 minutes on it.
It's a great house.
Yep. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, has a 1-car carport, and it's about 1,500 square feet. This is a brand new construction that was just finished. What stood out to this home?
I think it was, what I liked about this house was just the new construction. It was just really well done. You could tell we were noticing different aspects about the windows and just the way they used some of the kind of that more look for that type of home, and great open space going in from the living room all the way back through to the kitchen, which I know is very popular. Large bedrooms, and I remember the master bedroom having a very large walk-in closet as well, which really stuck out.
Yeah, Craftsman style home is still a very, very popular home, and it really just fits into that neighborhood.
Right.
Sometimes builders come in and they'll build something that, whatever style it is, it might not match everything around it, and then, everybody in the neighborhood just hates it when it happens. So.
Well, and then the bathrooms too were really impressive to me. Just was it the leather granite countertops? I thought was really interesting to me. I had not seen that before. And then the privacy fence too towards the back, I thought was a really nice add-on.
Yeah, this was I think a great value for a new construction in that neighborhood. As you can see, it's got a really nice backyard here that at the price point, it leaves a lot of room for you to be able to kind of customize this and do whatever you want to do to it. So 3528 Virginia Boulevard, it's priced at $298,000. That's about $204 a square foot. And we wanted to say thank you to Kent Frederick for letting us talk about his home today. The next one that we wanted to take a look at is back over in the West Kessler neighborhood, and this is at 1430 Junior Drive. 1430 Junior Drive is really just a couple of blocks away from the Greenbrier house that we were talking about.
Yeah, we were just right around the corner.
Yeah.
So we got there real fast.
Yeah, even more topography, I think, on this side of Sylvan than there was on the other. And this was kind of...
I remember going up Junior thinking, man, that is quite the steep street.
Yeah.
So,
It's it's interesting that some parts of Kessler are just they're very symmetrical streets, and when you get over into West Kessler, you can see how some of the twists and turns, and there are some kind of dead end roads that just come to a 90-degree turn, and all of a sudden the street name changes. But this one does have good walkability over to that Beckley Avenue area. You've got a couple of great restaurants right there at Zhang and Beckley. You have Methodist Hospital, like you mentioned earlier. This is the walkable distance to the rail, the DART rail that goes down through there.
okay, I missed that. That's great.
Yeah, so you can
That's
grab
a big
that,
benefit.
be in downtown within 4 or 5 minutes. So
I'm excited about talking about this home.
yeah, and the house itself is really spectacular.
It is.
What stood out to it about it?
It was just an amazing home. I think first thing driving up to it and seeing the architecture, more of a modern style, I was really interested in just the way they, as you walk up or as you drive up to the house, it's just very impressive. It was very beautiful outside, very inviting, and I like that style a lot. I was excited to go inside.
Yeah,
and see
it's
what
a
there was.
very popular style right now. They did a lot of really cool things on this, like how heavy was that door?
We were joking about it, actually wondering how did they even get this door hung in the first place. Was that all steel? I don't even know what that's made of, but it was quite impressive.
Yeah.
And it took all of your strength to open that door.
And this had a really interesting process done to the concrete floors, where when they're pouring the foundation, they pour with a little bit more aggregate, a little more rock into the foundation. And then before they do any of the construction on it, they'll come in and they'll sand that foundation down, and it exposes some of that rock. So you have this really pretty, almost terrazzo feeling floor that, just spectacular.
Loved it. And the other thing I loved it as well was that floating staircase, which was quite impressive. As you walk through the door, you see this beautiful staircase going up, combination of wood and metal, and it was. I couldn't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
I was very excited about it.
And downstairs on this, as you walk in off to the right-hand side, is the downstairs bedroom with a full bath. I think that room is about 14 by 15. You continue on down past the floating staircase. You see the kitchen. This is a really good view of the living room and how they have really kind of using a lot of that really large glass made the outdoor become part of the indoor.
Yeah, and that's the master bedroom, if I'm not mistaken, but they've got the sliding doors that open up to the backyard, which I loved, along with the main living room space that had the sliding doors. And the lighting in this house was wonderful. Just the way they set it up, opening up into that back patio space, it was kind of a dreamy home.
Yeah, it really was. It's wired for speakers, and there are speakers pretty much throughout the whole home. Upstairs, you've got 2 bedrooms, 2 more full baths, really great landing area, and it's a home you've got
that
to see.
upstairs space was impressive. Just the white oak floors, the great area to entertain or have an extra living space. I thought it was wonderful.
Yep. And this home is priced at $1,600,000. It is brand new construction that was just finished. I think it was finished in 2019. It was probably started in 18, and it comes in at $398 a square foot. This is the top end of that marketplace there, but you have what is really kind of one of the top end homes with this one.
Beautiful home. Someone to be very fortunate.
Yep, and we want to say thank you to Melissa O'Brien for letting us talk about her home. And our last one today is at 1524 Cedar Hill. It's only a couple of blocks away from the last one on Junior. So location-wise, it's really,
Right
all
there
the
with
same
all.
amenities, and just a really, certainly, again, very walkable neighborhood. Let's jump right into the pictures on this one if we can. This is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 2-car garage, little over 3,000 square feet, built in 1950. what stood out to you about this house?
Yeah, I love this house. As I was driving up, and you could tell that it it looks like it had recently been redone, renovated, remodeled, and walking in, it just felt, again, you kind of had this great entryway, and then you had this amazing, massive dining room off to the side, and it just seemed like a great space for, I mean, you could just use it. There, you see the picture right there. Really open, great hardwood floors, and then that eventually opened up into the kitchen and then the main dining room, or main living room, I guess.
Yeah, they use really cool lighting in this one. It sits on about a third of an acre. That lot is
Massive.
220
Massive.
feet
I think
deep.
that was the thing that probably stuck out to me the most about that property was just how long that lot space was. A lot of possibilities there.
Yeah. When you get into the bedrooms on this one, I think all the bedrooms are up, if I'm not mistaken.
The master was down below.
The master is down.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
Which is really important, I would imagine.
It is. A lot of buyers. That is just what they want to do.
This is the master too that, if I'm not mistaken, had that really interesting long walk-in kind of custom closet that I thought was really interesting.
Oh,
the way
you're
they
right.
set that up. Yep.
Yeah, it sure did.
It was a great house.
And then you go upstairs, and there were three more bedrooms upstairs, was the half bath down, or was it up on?
There's the half bath just as you walk into the house, I think, off to your right.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
In the entryway. Yep.
And this one, that's a picture of the master bedroom right there with the fireplace in the master, which I thought was really kind of a neat addition. So this one also has a really cool saltwater pool.
Yep.
And it's got a little decking off the back of the house, and then you go down to where the pool is. You got really great outdoor living space with this. With it being as big a lot as it is, it doesn't eat up all the backyard space. So
Right.
if you've got pets, then you've still got room to accommodate.
Yeah, there's like
them.
a whole nother yard after the swimming pool.
Yeah,
So you could keep going. You can see that photo right there. It was just a great space, and having that terrace up above to be able to watch down onto the pool, I could see that it's just a great space to entertain or do lots of different things.
And two-car detached garage, and then
Correct.
We didn't get into the space above the garage, but
Looks
they
like you
say
could
it's a
build-
great artist quarter. Or,
Yeah, you could build on. I think that's looking back towards the house, but on the two-car garage, it looks like there was space to build on or add like a mother-in-law quarter or an office space.
Yeah, and this one also had that the basement that we just saw that was
Correct.
downstairs there, which
Yep.
is, you just don't find many places with basements in Dallas. So.
It was so interesting as we were like, wow, it just keeps going.
Yeah,
So
it does.
We kept going with it.
So again, 1524 Cedar Hill Avenue, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, two-car detached garage, a little over 3,000 square feet, priced at $995, brings it in about $326 a square foot, and again, a really good value for that
I love this
quality
house.
home.
Just going through it, I was like, they've done some really great work on that. So
And we'd like to say thank you to Kathy Hewitt for letting us talk about her home today.
thanks, Kathy.
So let's transition over into what Weston calls our second segment.
Second segment.
And since we've got you here today, you and I've had a couple of conversations. We actually had clients that are about to retire or they have retired.
Transitioning.
And they're, it kind of spurred a conversation one day between you and I and Weston about how does, what are some of the tips that we can give somebody for taking care of their housing, either, pre-retirement or post-retirement. So today's second segment, tips for housing in retirement.
Yeah, what I love about this is it's kind of been a learned process for us. As we had talked about it, I was like, man, this has come up for me a few times where had I been able to catch a client even a couple of years before, it would have really opened up or maximized some options for them. The short story is, when you're looking at retiring, you have to think through what are your options from a financial standpoint. And assuming you're looking to finance that home, obviously, if you're paying cash, it kind of opens up a lot of options. But even using your cash to your best benefit of how do I maximize my purchasing power before I retire, and then how do I plan accordingly? So we talked about it, and we you want me to go on through the slides?
Well, one of the things I was going to say was that, even with people that are in a position where they can pay cash for it,
Right.
if they're long-term thinkers, some of them are looking at how low today's interest rates
Right.
are and thinking,
They may want to leverage that.
yeah, 10 or
Exactly.
20 years from now, what are interest rates going to be? So,
It's got people thinking. The way the market's working right now, I think it does have people wondering what is the best use of my cash, and should I use all that towards a home?
So our number one was, I thought, kind of the simplest way.
Right. We're kind of cheating a little bit. It's the simple answer is the best way to go about it is to buy your retirement home before you retire.
Yeah.
And that's easier said than done. And we were joking about it. That works in a perfect case where you know where you want to retire, you know what you're interested in, and the house that you found, and you're going to be staying put. And the reason that comes into play, Jeff, and we talked about it, was just being able to use your existing income for qualifying. So at that point, you can qualify with your loan at your current salary. So it really opens up the possibilities in terms of what you could do with your income. We're using that existing income for qualifying purposes. It gets different if you try to buy a home and you've already left your job. So,
And I guess I was kind of getting ahead of us a little bit when I was, talking about interest rates, because, that's another really good part of this is you get to borrow at today's interest rates and lock in that 10-year, that 15-year, even that 30-year mortgage.
well, and I would imagine some people are probably thinking, man, I don't know that I'm ready to decide on, and this may not work for everyone, but if someone knows, hey, I know I want to be in this area and I know kind of what I'm looking for, making that decision a little bit sooner than later could really help with that transition, specifically being able to maximize those purchasing options.
I've had somebody, when I've talked about this with them before, say, man, I'm 60 years old. Why in the world would I be doing a 30-year mortgage? I'm probably not going to be around that long. But what y'all, tell me how y'all look at that.
It's tricky because it's funny. I just had this conversation with someone that's very dear to me the other day, and I said, it just depends. I don't see someone, when people talk about this idea of 30-year mortgage and should I do it, and my experience is that most people are not going to be in that loan for that long. And I think industry standards are probably somewhere around 6 or 7 years. Now, if this is your forever home, then it's a different conversation. Ideally, I'd probably like to see someone, if they're 60s, thinking about retirement. We look at 15 years all the time, 10 years an option, 20 years an option. But the 30-year, if you're expecting maybe some windfall or perhaps some windfalls down the line, 30 years is a great option. And then you can we could talk about it a little bit later, but some recast options.
Yeah, so. And there's, one of the benefits of somebody taking out a 30-year mortgage would be it keeps their monthly payment lower.
Absolutely, yep.
So it takes less of what they have coming in every month to.
Yeah, it removes some of that strain in terms of kind of that monthly, what your outflows are on a monthly basis.
Yeah,
So.
and when they do pass away, their heirs have whatever equity that is. They've still got
Correct.
the home to sell. They just pay the mortgage off out
Correct.
of that.
Yep.
So, yeah. The option number 2 that we came up with, tell us how that works.
Yeah, so this idea was where you're considering, let's say you're in a different market. Let's say you are, let's say you're up in, you're considering moving somewhere else, and your future retirement home is not actually in the market where you work. Then the question becomes, well, what if you could actually buy your retirement home, and you could actually buy that as a second home, and we can make a case. There's some guidelines in terms of what qualifies as a second home, but you could buy that as a second home using your existing income again, and that's the main point, is being able to use your existing income for the purpose of qualifying, and then you qualify with both properties. And then once you retire, then you can make that your new primary residence.
And then there are different underwriting guidelines when this is a second home as
Correct.
opposed to having
Yes.
to look at it as an investment property.
Yeah, the main thing is your down payments change a little bit. So now it's a minimum of 10% down on a second home. Interest rates, there can be a little bit of a flux on interest rates, but it's nothing that would be prohibitive against buying a primary. I have a lot of people who are very interested in second homes.
Okay, so and we're kind of back to that, being able to borrow at today's interest
Correct.
rates.
Absolutely,
Rather
yeah.
than being able to,
Yep.
having
That's a
to.
great point.
So this slide is kind of backing up a bit. You must qualify for this with your income
Correct.
for both homes.
That's correct.
But you do have the ability to borrow at today's
At today's
interest
rates,
rate.
yep.
So,
And
yeah.
using your current income for qualifying.
Okay,
So-
excellent. Last thing about this program is what you kind of alluded to about there's some geographic issues that you have to be aware of.
Yeah, so the guidelines state that if you're working, let's say I'm working in Dallas, but I want to buy you can't necessarily buy a new primary residence in a different location because your work is in your current market. So that's why buying it as a second home opens up, because now you've got this, your current home. And the reason it's a risk issue for lenders is that if someone's buying a primary residence, they're less likely to not make payments on a primary because it's their primary home. Whereas if you have a second property or investment property, that's why the interest rates are a little bit higher on second homes. But what I would say on that is buying as a second home opens up because now you can open up geography anywhere. And you can, keep your current home, keep your current job, buy that new property as a second home, and then you can qualify with both.
Okay.
So,
And so our third scenario that we kind of talked about today was really, somebody has come along and they've already retired,
right.
and kind of going through the process from
Correct.
that point.
So that's that person who's already left their job. They've made that transition. So main thing is looking to see what kind of what are your options in terms of qualifying. And this is something we do on a regular basis. There are, and I listed here some different ways to qualify. Pension, I don't know how many people get pension anymore, but
Yeah,
that is
it's
an option.
getting smaller.
It's funny, I was looking at that. There's not a lot of pension programs anymore, but pension, if you've got a pension, then we can qualify using that. The main thing on the underwriting side is we just have to show that there's proof or there's indication that that income is going to continue for the next 3 years. And so we've got items like pension, you've got 401k income, IRA income, Social Security becomes an option. And the one that we'll talk about here in just a moment is this asset depletion, which is an interesting kind of loophole. It's not a loophole, it's a legitimate guideline, but not a lot of people know about it.
And that was really interesting to us. That was kind of one of the new
Right.
things you were teaching us. And so let's talk a little bit about that asset depletion program. How does that work?
So asset depletion basically says, hey, if you're needing some additional income to offset, you just need some additional qualifying income. What it does is it allows you to use, they have to be employment-related assets. So things like IRAs, 401ks, anything that's employment. It can't just be your own kind of trading account with, I don't even know,
Schwab
or something like that.
Ameritrade,
It's
yeah.
got to be employment-related assets. But what the program allows you to do is they say on a purchase, your loan to value, so meaning the inverse of your down payment. So if you're buying, if you're putting down, you got to put down 30%. So your loan to value is 70%. I think that changes a little bit based on your age. At the time of purchase, it may go up to 80% at a certain age. But what it allows you to do is you could say, okay, we're going to take the value of my employment-related assets, and the guidelines require you to discount those by 30%. So let's say you had, and I'm just going to throw out even numbers here. Let's say you had $500K in the value of your retirement funds. We would discount that by 30%. So now we've got $350,000 to work with. That $350K, we then take that and we just divide it by the length of your term. So in this case, if you're looking at 30-year, that would be 360 payments or 360 months. And that $350,000 now just added back in an extra $972 for qualifying. And that's a lot of money when you consider how qualifying ratios work. And that can give you a lot more in terms of purchasing power.
Yeah, and that full $972 is not, you get the full benefit of the 972.
Right. We would just add that on top of whatever other income. So if you had Social Security income or if you had other pension income, we would just add that back on, and that becomes that bottom figure in terms of how we determine our debt to income ratios.
Okay. So just in kind of rough numbers in my head, that $500,000 in employment-related savings can equate to about another $120,000 worth of purchasing
I probably
power.
should have done the math on that, but yeah, I mean, it would definitely add up in terms of what that does for that debt to income ratio.
Okay,
So
good.
probably the best bet on that is just talk with a lender, make sure that not all lenders are familiar or comfortable with this program, or perhaps haven't even considered using it, but we've used it a lot.
And there's another program that y'all do that not all lenders do that we wanted to bring up today also.
Yeah, so this is where we talk about, and I don't know if it's so much a program as it's allowed, because we do service our own files, our loans. There's this thing that we've been, that's kind of opened up some possibilities for clients, particularly when they, and we talked about this on a previous show, it's called recasting, where you've got someone who, let's say they start a loan, let's say it's $300,000 or whatever is their loan amount. What it does, it allows you to do a large principal reduction. So let's say, hey, again, maybe I inherited some money, or I sold a previous property or something like that, and I have this this lump sum of cash that the thing that's my biggest pain point on a monthly basis is my mortgage payment, and I really want to get that mortgage payment down. So what you could do is you could apply that towards principal, and what we do is we would just recast. So there's a process that you go through on that, but you recast the payment. So we take the new balance, and then we amortize that over the remaining months of the original term. So your note doesn't change. All the terms of your loan are still the same. There is some stuff that gets executed and signed once it's all finalized, but the recast allows you to basically reduce your monthly payments, which can open up a lot of possibilities for people in terms of just kind of what their monthly budget figures are. So
that's a great idea. I'm really glad to know that y'all do that, because it, just like you said, sometimes people, they can get in a position where a home continues to cost them more and more every month. Property taxes go up, just maintenance fees go up as the house ages.
And they may have a bunch of cash that they just don't know, hey, I'm not using this in any other way. And their monthly payment may be really the pain point that they want to fix. And now, I would say probably, be sure and talk with your existing lender or someone and make sure that recasting is an option once you close. So.
Great information. Yep. So those are today's tips for housing in retirement. Jeremy, thank you very much for
Jeff, thanks for letting me do
giving
this.
all that
Yes,
info. That
this
was
is great.
That was really good
Always
stuff.
fun to get to do shows with you.
Jeremy's information is up on the screen right now. If you would like to reach out to him, he is a great resource. Even if you're not doing your loan today, you just want information, maybe you're thinking about buying something a year from now, refinancing a year from now, he's a great resource. We could not be happier to work with him. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I think that kind of wraps us up for the day. I'd like to say thank you for tuning in with us today. Jeremy, thank you very much.
Weston will be back next week, I guess.
Visit our Facebook page. Chances are you're already there. If you're watching this, you can also follow us on Instagram. We try to keep that up with current listings, things that are going on in the market, just things that we're doing. Visit updikepugh.com. That's our website. There's a lot of detailed information there. You can set up searches for specific neighborhoods, get information right away. Homeprice.fyi is a way to get an instant value on your property. Go put your property address in, put a couple of other pieces of info in, and you will instantly get a value. Last of all, reach out to us in all the traditional ways. We'd love for you to call us, text us, whatever, 214-377-2223. Thanks for joining in, and remember, we want to be your realtors for life.